And I knew that. However, there's one thing that I wanted from him and for him was that he knew who he was. That was very important to me. I wanted him to be born in this world knowing who he is. And I say this from my own experience, and I think this was one of the reasons why I had experienced this as a child and as I was going into my teens and 20s. And the thing was, I spent so many of my early years not knowing who I was. I see that a lot in my practice as well with my patients, but to not know and to be lost and not to be want to be on this earth was, if you really think about it, it's so depressing. And it was really difficult for me to learn how to not only live in this body, but also to be able to relate to a lot of earthly things. I felt like I wasn't understood, even by my patient, whom I had wonderful, not patients, but my parents. I had wonderful parents, but I didn't feel that I was understood. I didn't feel that I understood them. And to be in this human body, having this experience was such a difficult time for me that I wanted one thing for my son, and that was, that he came into this world in knowing. Not just being aware, because awareness to me is more temporary, but to be in knowing was extremely important. I think one of the things, that comes with this is fear. And if you look at, what happens in heaven, is in heaven there's no such thing as fear. Fear is something that we make up in this world, while as we're living on this earth. So there's fear of success, fear of failure, there is fear of just not being good enough, okay, or fear of being too good. Sometimes, people say I'm too gifted and I don't know what to do with my gift, and I hear this too. But my thing was that I never felt good enough. And I think this is, it was very much, my parents, they raised me the best they knew how. And I think that came from also having, being the Korean culture, which was, if I got 93% on my test, it was not good enough. Next time you're gonna do better, okay? Unless I had 100% plus all the bonus points, it just wasn't good enough. And for my son, he's only 2, but I have affirmations for him, and that is to say, I am perfect, and I am good enough. I am perfect just the way I am. Those are things I actually make him say, because I really do feel that every single one of us, the way we are at this time is perfect. And the reason being is because of the divine timing. There's timing for everything. If I had this knowledge, as I was being, I came into this world and was born with this knowledge, I don't think I would be as compassionate. I don't think that I could have taught my kid or my patients about being, what it means really to know, who you are. But because I didn't know and I had to spend all these years learning, that was really important. I do ask my patients, if they meditate. And so many of my patients say, I'm not good at it. I don't know how to meditate. And I said, do we have to know how to meditate? Like, do we have to have skills on how to meditate? Is there a certain technique? I spent many years with a Buddhist monk. I've gone to different spiritual healers, trying to learn how to meditate, and just like going through this, spiritual journey and just becoming enlightened. That was my ultimate goal, when I was in my 20s. And I realize now, in order for me to meditate, there's no one thing. It's being, where you are at that moment, being present is more important than knowing, what to do during meditation. Somebody told me that I had to have a blank mind, but then I learned, as soon as you have a blank mind, you have a thought. So there is no such thing as blank mind. But one of the things we wanted to embrace is what is going through our mind at that time during our meditation. That is one of the most important thing, and we forget that. Instead, we try to become somebody else's, skills or somebody else's ways, and that's not really us. And I have developed my ways, which is the way I meditate is pretty much, going, I really want to be in touch with, myself, where, I feel like I'm one with not only with my body, because being grounded is one of the most important thing for me. And I think it's also because I didn't know what being grounded meant. Many years I spent, way up here. I really loved being away from where I am, which is on this earth. I loved going into my past lives. I love going into the future. I would do all kinds of, like, whether it's a rebirthing process or hypnotherapy or whatever it is, hypno breathing. And I would go into these altered state when channeling as well, in order for me to be away from this, world. And it gave me a lot of pleasure. I felt a lot of bliss, because it took me away from all the worries and all the dramas and all the whatever is going on around surrounding me. But I have learned I don't really need to be doing that anymore. I can do it if I wanted to, but what's really important for me is to learn how to live here as a human being, to really embrace the body that I'm in at this moment, and to learn how to really stay in this body, and to understand what each one of our cells are doing, and what is the sound of my blood, my circulatory system, my nervous system. This, I realize, can only be done when you go into a moment of solitude. And what that means is silence is something that a lot of us don't get. And in order for us to be able to hear what our nervous system is doing, what our body is doing, what our mind is doing, you have to, at some point, go into silence. And that is being self-full, not being selfish, because it's taking you away from all these other things that you have to take care of, but you are being self-full. So I wanted to just to, to go, to just to be able to um, share this experience with you, and and I do really hope that you enjoy this beautiful day with us and family and loved ones.
Thank you, Elisa Kim. Thank you so much. And Chris is now going to share this. Thank
Aloha. Isn't it beautiful? We have a special time here this evening, this day, and I'm here to talk to you about relationship as spiritual practice. How many of you think of relationship that way? Anyone? How many would like to think that way? Yes. It seems like relationships and communication and connection have changed a lot. I've studied relationship and presence as a way of really getting self-connected and building strength in love and connection. And one of the things I've seen is that great relationships have these special qualities. I would go find people that have had 40 and 50-year relationships, and I'd say, how'd you do that? It was really a curious thing, because the things they've told me surprised me. So one couple that had been together since they were 16 and had raised 3 children, were in their 60s. If you saw them, they had a quality of connection that looked like newlyweds. So I asked the question at the time that I thought was a really nice question. I said, Tina, how long did it take you to teach him to be that way? And she thought that was the funniest thing. She thought, oh, and she laughed for maybe 3 minutes, and I was starting to get embarrassed. And she said, oh no, Chris, I've never tried to change him, and he's never tried to change me. Now, I thought that was pretty profound, because how many of you have thought, well, I'm going to start this relationship, and, they might need a little molding, they might need a little bit of support to learn how to be connected with me and love me, or have a quality of relationship I'd really like to have, rather than I want them as they are, and I want them to want me as I am. So I thought that was kind of an amazing thing. In presence, I found, is a common element of all great relationships. Do you know what I mean when I say presence? Presence is an ability to be connected with someone in a really deep, mirrored, almost like you're not thinking, you're not judging, you're not looking for information to come out of yourself, relate to them. You're really there to mirror their experience. That's great presence. And especially when someone is in an emotional upset. It's a profound way to build connection. Now, everyone know when I say triggered what that means? Anyone ever notice that when somebody's really triggered, it's usually way out of proportion to what's happening in the moment? Yeah? Well, triggering, I think, is the basis of a spiritual relationship. Now, can you imagine that when someone's upset that you love, you say, oh, good, we're going to be more connected now. Can you imagine that? Well, that's what triggering ultimately will mean. Because whoever you choose to have intimate in your life is going to unconsciously find all those special places, those special wounds that usually come from birth to 6 years old. And if you're able to be present with them in that moment of their pain, meaning that you don't become reactive, you're simply going to, bear witness to their truth, especially if they start blaming you, okay? That they will quickly calm down, and they'll frequently find that was the basis of that trigger. So I have an example. I had a day, I was sitting on the couch on my porch, and my girlfriend came into the room, and she was standing above me, and she starts waving her finger this way, side to side, and she's talking about should, and my whole body kind of seized up, and I was noticing that my brain was almost like too many windows open, and I was having trouble forming words. It's like everything's slowing down. You've had that experience, huh? So, and unfortunately, in that moment, here I'm totally triggered. Rather than reacting, I got really curious. I got curious instead of furious, because I could just as well had thought, well, she did this to me. Because that's what we've all been trained in, right? We've been trained to believe other people can make us feel a certain way. And that's something I've been trying to unlearn. So anyway, I'm watching this happen, and I start to recognize, okay, well, how much can I capture? And so I caught enough of it that a couple days later, I taught a friend how to trigger me. How did I know? Well, it took about 10 minutes. I got exactly the same physical response in my body. My whole body started to seize up, and I'm shaking a little bit, and I'm having trouble forming words, and he had it. So if you're able to capture, especially with your beloveds, those triggers, I can share with you that in about 30 to 40 minutes, you can release it, because that's what I did. So I taught him how to trigger me, my friend Ken, and I said, push the button. And he goes, you should do this. He's waving his hand side to side. And then I just tried to get back in my body, because I was at that moment, my energy was high, I was in my head, my breathing, I stopped breathing. So I start breathing, try to sink into the earth. It took about 6 or 7 minutes to get back into my body. So after I was back in my body, I said, do it again. And he starts saying, you should do this right. And that time was faster, 4 or 5 minutes. So it took, can you believe, it took 9 times for this process to happen before I laughed out loud unconsciously, and I had an image of my father standing over me. Maybe I was 5 years old, and he was talking about should, and he was fairly annoyed with me for some unknown reason to me now, but it was over. So here I am in this moment. I could have easily blamed Raquel for this situation. I could have said it was her because she hit the button, but she just found something that was already there. And that's one of the things about relationship I wanted to share with you, because if you can recognize these triggers are really opportunities for healing. Because what happened for me when I reclaimed that energy, can you imagine how much energy we hold around these old programs that are running in the background? And someone pushes that button and you're off to the races. And if you think that you can really control that, it's not so likely. If we're triggered, we're literally taken over by this computer program. That's a trauma of old that if we can release it, we reclaim all that energy. Okay? And really the last thing I want to share with you is that presence is the key. So when your beloved gets triggered, if you can go into presence with them and absolutely know it has nothing to do with you. Repeat after me, it has nothing to do with me. Okay, it's true. If they're triggered and if you can say, wow, they're really caught, and if you can really be there with them, they're going to find a way through it. And Marshall Rosenberg, who was one of the great teachers for me to help me learn about this, he toured with Viktor Frankl. Anyone know Viktor Frankl? You know, he was at Auschwitz. He was a psychiatrist who survived Auschwitz. And he and others that Marshall spent time with had suffered this experience that is beyond what most of us imagine through. It's like, if you survive that, you know, it's like one of the amazing feats. And Marshall said that after talking to Victor and people that had survived genocide, he found that the one quality that they all had in common, the one quality that you can give to your children, for instance, is presence. That, yes, almost as if there's one person in life at least who is able to see them so completely that the complete of life could not take them. They kept themselves even in the midst of these most tragic, difficult experiences. And so the presence of love that you can give to those that you really care about, especially if they're upset. And I found this to be true again and again, even with people who are going in violence, being present to them in their pain, allowing them to know that they are really seen, changed everything. Everything, yeah. So thanks for being here tonight. How do you do presence? Presence is a way of bearing witness. So you bring all of your energy completely to the person you're with. You're not in your head, you're not thinking about it, it's really being there. And if you're able to recognize what they're feeling or the underlying needs underneath the words, those things help. But you don't even have to say anything, really. It's about being there for them. And so you're there. It's really at that moment you can say it's all about them. Okay? And you stay with them until they cycle through. Because what will happen is if someone's triggered, they're caught in that energy and they'll run themselves down. Unless, of course, you decide to react to them, and then it gets bigger. In presence, it's really learning how to recognize that the pain is theirs. So if you don't take it personally, when they start saying, you know, this is all your fault. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be feeling all this. Yeah, I see you're really upset with me right now. And if it wasn't for how I just reacted to you or responded to you, it's all you. Your fault. Yes, it's all my fault. Tell me more. Tell me all of it. You see, and if I don't take it on, then they go through their experience. It's their experience, and I'm holding their hand, being with them through that, and it gets easier. Yeah. And so there's training around such things: empathy training, deep listening training, nonviolent communication training, all these things. Thanks.
Thank you. And Chris does these courses pretty regularly. I did one a few months ago, and it was absolutely brilliant. So I would highly recommend them. And if you're on the mailing list, I don't know how people would get on the mailing list, but I'm sure at the end of this evening, just ask Chris if you want to be on his mailing list, and he can let you know about the courses. If any of you have the email with the information about tonight, I think your contact is there, Chris. So really great courses to do. Okay, our final speaker, thank you, Chris. Our final speaker is Tarun, who has arrived. So if you'd like to come up. And Tarun does healing meditation groups twice a week, free of charge. Also offers individual healing. So again, his contact details are on the information, and absolutely wonderful meditation groups. One is here in Moana, and one is Kihihi Memorial Park out near the airport. So join the meetup group if you're interested. Wonderful groups to go to. Thank you.
I always work without a plan. I never have a plan. I have a basic motivation and intent out of love to share something. So today's topic is going to be the absurdity of our times and how it really helps us. These days are absurd. Like last I heard, someone in China donated his kidney, one of his kidneys, for an iPad. In the society where I'm located, Kim Kardashian is supposed to be a comedian. People are obsessed. There's so many absurd things all around. A couple of weeks ago, there was so much thing about infidelity that a person, a general who has served the country well, has the right to push the nuclear button and cannot have a little eeny meeny infidelity. That's really really stupid. I'm from places where I was in Russia, and if the if the secretary is good looking and the boss is not paying any attention, she may feel insulted. She may feel insecure. What's wrong with me? So every society has got its own norms. But these days, things are really taking a turn are getting more and more absurd. Like, I have an iPhone because an iPhone is a good toy, and this toy is having like 100 billion in excess, 97 billion to be, and 3 billion is all that it takes for world hunger to be eradicated. And people cannot just link it up. I mean, they could have given it this money to WHO and called it like, Apple eradicated world hunger, and it would have been good like advertisement. But no, it doesn't work like that. Anyway, a lot of absurd things are happening, including that after you have heard so many like gifted people, you have to hear me. I'm not a regular in the circuit. I'm not commercial in any way, and I'm very relic in a lot of ways. Like, I have gifts that I have to share, but I never ask for them. And if someone comes to me, I just tell them about their life. If the need is there, about their previous past. If the need is there, of what's going to be happening. Because I don't see time as you do. I see time as a non-linear thing. So when people come, I just or make a call from anywhere. And I don't believe in advertisement, because if someone is fated to come to me, they will come to me. And if someone is not fated to be, they're going to be evolving in different. Are meant for evolvement. Like, the monkeys did not really have a big choice about becoming men at some point. So it's all about evolution, but part of it is really guided. And the moment I say like I or something like that, I introduce an ego. The Eastern philosophy is um, very focused on ensuring that the person who is studying that gets in touch with the internal I, which is the true divinity, the spark of God inside everyone. And Western approach is to kill the I, which is, for it represents the ego. So that if you go to a church, you feel eeny meeny, and if you go anywhere, like all the scriptures, it's saying like, yeah, you are small and God is bigger, and the greatest poem is supposed to be that my boat is small and the ocean. So everything in the western part is more directed towards killing the ego in a different way by acknowledging the greatness of God. The Eastern is about acknowledging the God inside it. It's two sides of actually exactly the same coin. It's just whichever you believe in, you go with. So there are thousands, millions of ways um, to achieve enlightenment and self-realization. So just because of the times that we are in, that we have achievement, I can serve it to you like a fast food today. So all you have to do is indulge me for the next 5 minutes, and you'll have that. It's not like it's your birthright. You're not. I'm not going to be. The reason that I'm sitting here on ground It's because I'm on the same level as you. I see the same sun reflected in different mirrors. I'm not at a hierarchy. I'm not lower. I'm not badder. I'm not better. I'm the same in different human body. The same divine energy is working. That's why I'm on the floor for a reason. So that you don't feel the hierarchy of someone lecturing down or being at a different level than you. If at all possible it was, yeah, I've done a lot of stupid things and I continue to. Like, I just don't beat anyone on the head with it that I have done something bad or you have done something good. I have some people who believe in the teachings that flow through me. And last week someone was saying, you got drunk in a party and people like sort of like respect you. And I said, screw that, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't judge myself. I don't judge others. If that's what happens, that's what's supposed to happen. If someone comes to me for healing, I never heal. I sort of have an inner dialogue with the other soul and say, you know what? Since we are getting touch, we are touching each other's lives. Let me play the part of the healer and let you play the part of the healed, and later on you'll play the part of the healer and I'll play the other part. It's okay. We are just playing parts. So I talk at the level of soul. It's not a big thing. I just close eyes and imagine that I'm talking. Most of the time it works. These times are really absurd. Your imagination, your thoughts is exactly what all it takes, and everyone is entitled to be knowing who you truly are. So just indulge me, whether you believe in the system, you don't believe in the system, whether you believe in energy, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in these things or you don't believe, it doesn't matter. Nothing really matters. All you have to do is just close your eyes for the next 5 minutes and just indulge me. All meditations are basically prayers. All prayers. In the times of old, all the prayers were directed to a God above, around, somewhere high. During meditation, we are in direct communion with the God inside us. We look for God everywhere, and finally, we are coming to final absurdity, to a life out of which we can only get with greatest adventure of death. We come to the absurdity that I am the one that I sought. I am the seeker. I am the sought. I am the process of seeking. Just close your eyes very, very gently. Do not expect any silence around you. All the sounds of the external, integrate them, send to them blessings, embrace them, and they will stop having any effect on your communion with the deep sea of calmness that is inside you. Just close your eyes very, very peacefully with the intent to achieve self realization. Say 3 times the prayer mentally to yourself. May I be aware of who I truly am. May I be a source of joy and enlightenment to everyone. May I be rid, free of all that stops me from being forever happy, laughing, and full of laughter, life, and light. Say it to yourself using the name that your mother called you the first time that you became aware of your personality. May I, say it to yourself mentally, may I today be self realized. May I be free of being a source of light and love for everyone on this planet. May I truly become aware of who I am. Having declared your intention in the universe that exists inside the your body, focus between the two eyes, right in the center of the forehead. Visualize the symbol of God of your forefathers. The symbol is not a history of religion. Each symbol of God is a key to unlock the divine potential that is inside you. Put your full attention to the cross or to the star. See the cross burn right in the center of your forehead. 3 times invoke ancient vibration to your Amen. 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 Free yourself. When I say feel the vibration right at your navel, your center of gravity. When I say me, feel yourself traveling fast to your heart. When I say N, just go out to the center of the universe through the crown of your head and then back. Amen. 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 As you travel across your body, you start becoming enlightened. You start getting rid and free of the 7 thoughts. Put your full attention to the base of the spine where the first chakra is and declare to yourself, I am not the material things that I have. I am not my house, nor my car, nor any amount of money that I hold. I am none of the material things. I am I, the self-realized, free of all material thoughts. They are mine, but I am not theirs, and I am certainly not the material things that I have. As you let go of the thought that you are associated with the material things in the real true you that is inside you awakening, let go of the thought, I am not the things that I have. Things lose their hold. See yourself as a rocket, slowly climbing up to the second chakra, right where your sexual organs are. And declare to yourself 3 times once more. I am not the that I have had. I am the people that I associate with. I am above and beyond all relations. I am pure, pristine spark of divinity in a human body. Feel the shackles of these thoughts of relations and lust leaving you freer and lighter. See all your blocks of lust and sexual anger dissolving and becoming pink vapors of love rising inside you. As a rocket, you are climbing up to the third, to the navel, and declare to yourself, I am not my reputation. I am not what people think of me. I am pure, divine, an instrument of love, serving others as I can with the restrictions that I have. I am not my reputation. I am beyond and above. As you are freed in your thoughts first of your need of acceptance and of meeting others to please you, feel the true spark of divinity inside you, rising to your heart and declare to yourself, I am a source of love and joy for all sentient beings unconditionally. Send from your heart thoughts of love to all who live materially challenged, who have much less than us in North America. 93% of the people who do not have electricity, water, nor protection of their rights. Send to them thoughts of love and gratitude. Our abundance is based on their sacrifice. Sending them thoughts of gratitude and love from your heart washes out the guilt that you have been holding inside you. Good. Send thoughts of love to the people who returned your love with love, who gave you pleasure of love, who showed you heaven on earth and the possibilities. Send to them thoughts of love from your heart. Now send thoughts of love to them who took you and as per your need, not as per your want, but as per your need to spiritually evolve, gave you harsh pain. The pain that cleaned you up and cleared you for your spiritual path so that today you are here listening this. Go above and beyond all judgments. See all that gave you pain as angels, enabling you to evolve as a butterfly from a cocoon to your present spiritual self, having all millions of choices and indulging in all temptations. You listen to the wisdom of ages. You listen to the deep call within yourself. Within me and you, there is no difference. All names, all places, all forms are together, joined together. The same sun reflected in different mirrors. That's all. You see the sun shine inside you. As you send thoughts of love and peace and gratitude for helping you to evolve spiritually, you undertake a promise to communicate only love. In all your acts, thoughts, gestures, you will be communicating only love. With that, your shackles are gone and you can focus on the eye between the two eyebrows. See the symbol of God again and the vibration of Amin helps you to achieve your communion. The symbol of God that you are watching, let it become for a second a mirror showing you as who you are. The burning cross was a mirror reflecting the true spark of divinity in the shape of cross, the one beyond name and form. The watcher, the witness inside you, be in full communion. The eyes which had been looking outside, let them look inside at the one who receives all the information from the eyes, from the ears, from all your senses. The one that watches, the silent witness, the spark of divinity in the shape of cross. Become aware of who you truly are. Become aware of who you truly are. Become aware. With your awareness from the crown of the head, send a thought of gratitude and joy to the source at the center of the universe. Send out a thought of gratitude for the adventure of life to the source from the crown of your head. As you send out a thought of love and gratitude, your connection to the reactivated. All your doubts, all your fears, all pain has vanished. Feel the rain of bliss showering upon you. As you send thoughts of love and gratitude to the source, feel the love awakening in your heart. The center of the universe and the center of your heart, they are exactly the same. Joy again with the divine beings who had given you pain. See your whole physical body full of golden light. Your kidneys golden and shining. Fear all fears. Your heart no more a storehouse of pain and emotions. It's now a church of joy. Your liver no more a place of anger, but golden and shining love. Your right hemisphere of the mind and the left, let them shine with the clarity of who you are. And all thoughts that had blocked you, all thoughts that had stopped you from feeling laughter, let them vanish. All acts in your life, may they be full of cognizant love. May you always be aware of the wings that you are growing now, of being angels of love and laughter on this planet to serve others with gratitude for those who accept your services. Om Bhurgo Swaha Tatsavitorenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yo Na Prachodayat. Let all be healthy. Let all be self-realized. Let all be aware of who they truly are. Om Bhurgo Tatsavitorenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That's it. You can come back slowly to your physical body to continue to evolve as you want to. All meditations, you have to understand, meditation is not just closing eyes. All meditations are basically prayer. Any act of love that you do with an awareness is meditation. Everything is an evolution of you to the next adventure. So, that's when we work in meditation, we open ourselves to the thought that not everything is what it seems, and you understand that that is nothing, a changeover, an acceptance of a new car, and it's not the end. So you start enjoying your present without any fear, because all the fears and irritations that you have, basically, as a lot of my gifted colleagues explaining, anything that you that irritates you means that it is triggering a fear inside you. And the easiest way is to, at that moment, see the cross, say Amin 3 times, and from your heart, send love to whatever is irritating you or whatever you are afraid of. And slowly you will become fearless and you will be able to enjoy this adventure and your blessings fully. All meditations, like we have a tradition, we always end it with a burst of freedom. So what I am going to be asking you to do is going to be using your willpower. Close your eyes for one more second. Close your eyes. See the blocks of all your pain, anger, and fear. Your pain had been out of a sense of entitlement and not receiving what you wanted and having received what you needed for your spiritual growth created that anger out of ignorance. What you need is being given to you. That anger in your heart becomes a block of judgment in your liver. That block of judgment which creates a gap that if I'm so good, then why is this happening to me? And you don't see that God is you planning out your own life in a particular way for your spiritual involvement. And you become angry that you have anger that why is this not happening? That impacts your liver, and anything that you get angry at turns into a huge block of fear which you try to remediate by buying more things, investing more on this planet. But the spirit is a spark and it will fly off. If you're over 30, every day 3 million cells are, and it's the way to evolve to the next adventure, maybe on this planet, maybe somewhere else. But the point is to enjoy the blessings of this planet as it is now. So just with your eyes closed, see the blocks of pain, fear, anger, judgment, and using all your willpower with a huge burst of the blessing from the universe that you are receiving. Laugh out loud and burst it all off. If you can't laugh, you have to really work at it. That's the biggest part that you have. You guys are so privileged. I'm from places where people would kill or give up their left hand, right, like anything for an American passport. So you guys should be so privileged. 90% of the world so much invades you. So you guys should never be stressed about anything you have. You just don't compare yourselves properly. You compare yourself like you don't have the method for it. But there are no comparisons. Every life is an equally fearsome and equally difficult or challenging way to evolve to your own higher self. And it is not a choice. You're here by a choiceless choice. You don't really have a choice but to grow. So that's it. That's what does anyone have any questions? Please, even about your life, I will tell you. If it's a question which you have which is not really letting you grow, I'll, but I'll answer you in terms that only will make sense to you. If you don't, it's equally good. Share your bliss with others.
Thank you all very much for coming this evening. Before we finish up, are there any questions for anybody or any general questions, thoughts, comments, anything before we finish? Yes? Thank you for coming. Thank you. It's been wonderful to be here. What an amazing evening. Is there anything anybody would like to ask from anybody here or no? Thank you all. thank you to all the speakers for your time and for your energy in coming, and thank you to Laurie for setting it up and filming it, and to Chris in the PA and the microphone, all these things we didn't kind of originally think about, putting it together. Good night to everyone, and safe home, and thank you so much for coming, and I hope you enjoyed it and that you got something of what was said resonated with all of you. Thank you.